Good morning, Lowell here, Pacific Solo in a charming but busy harbor in southern Japan. That's my boat Wahine behind me, a Gipsy 402. I've lived aboard her for the last 6 years. I've come to realize that there are several things, 6 things in particular, I wished I had learned more of and practiced more before I ever became a boat owner. This goes beyond learning how to sail, of course, but being a boat owner, what I wished I was better at before I got on board. So I list these 6 things in reverse order. I'll do a spoiler now for those who don't have time. The number one thing I'd encourage learning and practicing tying knots, because you'll need them the moment you'll step on board. All right, this is not a polished how-to video. This is more of a wish I had video. I've been living on my boat for 6 years now, and I've been thinking, what do I wish I had done more of before I'd even bought her? These are the 6 things which would have eased my nerves, sped up the learning curve, and frankly saved me a few embarrassing moments and lessened the fear. So here we go, straight to the point. Starting at number 6, I wish I'd studied electrical systems more. I had a basic idea of wiring, but boats are floating bundles of wires, circuitry, batteries, charging systems, inverters, solar panels, and I wished I understood all of that better. I also discovered that with used boats, it seems like every owner of a boat adds in more wires, more switches, adds in their own idiosyncrasies and preferences, and have a basic understanding of electrical systems would have helped me discern what all those extra additions were. Instead, I learned the hard way. In fact, the very first day I moved on board, having had 3 whirlwind explanations by the previous owner, too much for me to remember, I couldn't figure out how to turn a couple of switches on. And fortunately, friends of mine, Robin and Mina, came by. She spoke French, and she looked at the French manual, and I could figure out what the problem was. My advice, don't wait until your cabin lights flicker out at sea to realize you should have studied boat electrics more. Number 5. Now, this may surprise you, being a sailboat, but I wish I had known more about diesel engines. I really admire those sailors who love tinkering with their engines. They go looking for problems to solve. I am not one of them. I'm not mechanically inclined, but guess what? Diesels may be reliable, but they do need maintenance. They cough, they stall, sometimes they just refuse to start when you need them most. I wish I'd gone in with less fear and more confidence, and I've done so by learning more of the basics, changing filters, bleeding a line, knowing your impeller. It's not romance, but it's reality. My friend Tony helped me a lot once I moved on board, but it could have been a way I would spend many hours studying before I even had a boat. Number 4. I wish I had studied more COLREGs, or collision regulations. Maritime rules, lights, buoys, markers, right-of-way, avoidance of collision. I'd studied them to pass my boat operator's exam in Japan, which you need if you're operating a boat over 2 horsepower, but then I promptly forgot most of it. But the truth is, coastal cruising means you're constantly interpreting other boats' behavior and entering and exiting harbors and ports and going past shipping lanes. This isn't theoretical, it's practical survival. Number 3, I could have done a lot more studying weather. And then I learned about predict wind and winding, so I began to learn more about weather. But I really admire those sailors who know the weather just from looking at the sky. Clouds tell you stories and offer predictions. I wish I had done more of that, even sitting on the deck of my log house on a hillside in central Japan. I could have learned a lot more about weather. Okay, now for the top 2, which I did some of each of these, but I wish I had done more. So number 2 is, The language. No, I don't mean Japanese, where I have been cruising. I mean the language of sailing itself. It's a whole vocabulary. From ordering parts to describing a problem to another sailor, if you don't know the precise terms, you'll feel lost. It's more than just bow and stern and lines instead of ropes, etc. There's a lot of precise terms that helps you communicate to others on your boat or off your boat. I wish I'd studied all of that more. There are layers of vocabulary. Sailing is literally its own language, and I wish I'd become more fluent sooner. It would have saved me confusion and probably some money. The number of times I've kind of stammered looking for the word to explain something to another sailor because there was a problem. Number one, drum roll. If you do nothing else before you buy your boat, do this, practice this, study this, because you will need it the moment you step on board the boat. And that is tying knots. Now, again, I had practiced tying knots. I needed to do that for my boat operator's license, but I wish I had mastered them efficiently before I even got on board my boat. And I would have had fun doing that. I could have done that while watching sailing YouTube channels. Tying knots is tactile, it's satisfying, and you can practice on your living room couch with just a bit of rope. The bowline, the cleat hitch, clove hitch, sheet bend, you'll need them immediately, day one. I still remember climbing my mast to install lazy jacks early on and yelling down to my sailor friend, Stefan, "What knot do I use?" He yelled back, "A bowline." And then I thought, oh yeah, how do I tie a bowline again? Knots are essential, and they're important for safety. Even the way you leave lines on a dock, I become a bit of a knot Nazi, where I'll go out and clean up other people's lines on docks because I like the coiled look. Not only it is aesthetically pleasing, but it's safe. It saves people tripping over. So your lines are one of your greatest assets and greatest hazards on a boat. And it's something I could have done a lot more of as I was anticipating and dreaming owning a boat, so that once I stepped on board, I'd be a better captain, a safer captain, and a less fearful captain. So there it is, my no-frills list of 6 things I wish I'd done more of before buying a boat. It's never too late to learn something new, but trust me, it's a lot easier if you start before you buy the boat. Okay, that's me. Over and out for now.